All right, so we're starting over. So what we're doing here, this is an experimental podcast, I guess. This is going to be called the 1010s Podcast. And I'm Michael Beck, and we have Adam Nielsen. And Robbie, I have no idea what his last name is or how to say it because it's a lot of letters together.
Veerhout. Not Veerholt. Veerhout. Veerhout.
It sounds very German.
It's not actually. It's Dutch.
It's very Dutch.
Yep, fair enough.
I don't like to spend money. It's very Dutch.
Oh,
yeah, bullshit. You don't like this one.
When he spends money, he spends it hard, but he doesn't like spending money.
I don't like to spend it, but when I do, it's all
he spends it and stuff.
Yep.
He owns part of Megan Racing, actually. It's a little, few people know that, but based on the number of parts in his garage, I'm going to say...
If they gave out stock options, I'd own it, but I don't.
So anyway, it's January 30th, and we're watching the 24 Hours of Daytona, which I assume we're stealing off the internet based on how good the image quality is.
Yeah, because we don't get.
Yeah, because Fox Sports 2 doesn't come in Iowa without DirecTV.
Oh, they switched it to Fox Sports 2.
Yeah,
it was on Fox Sports 1 for a while. Now we switched over to the internet. So for those of you that are watching, it is what do we got left? 20 hours and 33 minutes. Not that anybody that's listening to this is ever going to try to sync it up to where we are. But
this is our race companion.
If you're the one person that wants to watch the 24 Hours of Daytona on replay while also watching this podcast, we're at 20 hours and 33 minutes and 30 seconds.
Assuming there's no delay in our stream.
So basically,
let's assume there is.
There probably is some delay. But basically, I don't think anything really has happened so far other than Adam's beloved Ford GT spectacularly exploding, I think is what happened.
I think they both did,
they're
actually.
Not beloved to me. I think they're great cars in the fact that they were designed specifically to win Le Mans. But if I have a beloved car in this race right now, it is undoubtedly the Delta Wing because it is funky and it is focused on aero, and I'm a nerd.
Okay, so let's go back for a minute. So if anybody actually does listen to this, we're probably going to get blasted for it. The original Ford GT was designed to beat Ferrari at Le Mans, right?
Yes, that's all it's built for.
Yep.
That was the whole reason of that car. So they're trying to pull on that heritage then for this car.
Yes, that car was built specifically to win Le Mans again because Ford has not done it in basically since then.
That's kind of a huge claim, though, to say we're going to build a car to beat Le Mans and to beat Ferrari at Le Mans or whoever's the fastest now.
But look at it. It's
ridiculous.
Glorious.
It looks great, but they're both broken right now.
That rear diffuser, have you seen a picture of just that rear diffuser?
I was close enough to touch that car last year at the Chicago Auto Show.
Oh, is it?
They had him at the Chicago Auto Show.
That diffuser is pornographic.
The only problem is when people put that fucking Angry Birds meme online with the pig. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh, yeah, because the back of the car looks like
a pig.
Can you pull that up?
The tail lights. It's bad.
Well, if you guys want to talk about the history of the Ford GT at Le Mans, this right now at Daytona, it's repeating history at Le Mans. The first year they went out, they both they both died. Crashed. They couldn't finish. So if they're going to repeat history, they'll do poorly this year and then come back in the next year or two and just destroy all.
Yeah, that might be true. That car won. How many times did that car win? 4 years.
I want
to
say 4. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I
think I need to reread.
I'm not
AJ Bames
up to date. Look at
AJ Bames go like hell.
Look at it. It's a pig.
So Robbie's looking at a picture of the Ford GT.
God damn it! It fucking does.
Yeah,
it ruins it.
Ruined.
Thanks for you know what? Don't ever show that to me again. I don't want to see it. I don't want to pretend that that car isn't perfect.
It is perfect,
except for that.
Well, haven't you seen the Ford Escape, which looks like Pedobear?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh my god,
that would be even better, really.
My favorite one's the BMW i8 that looks like it's giving birth to a Porsche 911.
Yeah, that's pretty terrible.
Have you
Somebody
seen that?
ruined that?
No, apparently I don't spend any of your weird places of the internet on cars.
See, I assume
can you pull that one up, Adam?
I assume there's a subreddit for these things, but
I don't know if anybody else has seen the Pedobear but me. We'll see if it comes up.
I know what the Pedobear is. I just haven't seen it against a car.
You do know what did you say you do not or know?
I do know what Pedobear is.
Okay. I was gonna say I don't buy that. You went to college once.
I did go to college.
I think it looks like Pedobear. I can't find it right now on my phone. If we had a producer that could look these things up, we're not big time enough for that. So
not yet.
So anyway, the Ford GTs have spectacularly exploded. We don't know if they're going to come back or not, but
not looking good.
That's all we have. But hey, the Delta Wing, nothing's happened to the Delta Wing.
It's still racing. I just saw it just a few seconds ago coming out of pits.
Because that's been the issue. I
assume it was a scheduled pit.
Yeah. That's been the issue in the past with that car is that it...
Basically every race I've ever watched where it's involved, any endurance race, it didn't finish.
Right.
There's an i3 in Ames, and it is god
Is that the one they posted on the?
I saw that
on the Iowa spotters page.
No,
People were talking mad shit about it.
I think that was probably the i3 is kind of like a smart car in size.
Oh, okay. No, there must be the i8
shape, frankly.
Yeah, they posted the i8 picture, and everyone talking shit because the guy referred to it as a supercar, and everyone got pissed.
Yeah, they're trying to play off the i8 as a supercar.
It's not.
Michael probably remembers this better than I do, but didn't Jeremy Clarkson pick it over the current M3 or 4 in that one? Or did he decide to go back to...
Knowing Jeremy Clarkson, he probably decided to go back, but...
he was very close to picking it as being the better car. I remember that much.
Yeah.
It's a Ford GT, by the way, right there on screen. It's not. Is it?
Well,
it looks so much like prototype cars. They're hard to tell with this green.
Yeah, I don't think it's the.
No, I think that's one of the Daytona. Look at those
brakes.
Brakes glowing. That is fantastic.
Yeah, welcome to Daytona when it starts to get dark.
Yeah, when they come off the oval and into the
this is
section.
Adam, that's your car. It's got Claritin written on the side of it.
I have an invested interest in that car.
In that car, yeah.
I used to work at Target as well, so
wasn't this one of the off team Ford GTs, not the actual Ford team?
No, there's only 2 of them out there.
No, there's more. There's other Ford GTs, but they're not part of Ford.
Are they?
I think so.
Oh, I think Pruitt does have some of these. I don't know.
I want to say that's what we were just watching.
I didn't know this was happening today until yesterday, so I did not read into this very well. I'm not ready for this race season yet. This whole having a kid thing's really thrown me off.
So for those of you that don't know, which is everybody, Adam's having a kid. And
next month.
Next month.
Really?
And his
March.
girlfriend, wife, fiance, oh my god, it's the fucking ass monkey car.
What?
Oh, it is.
It's an ass monkey car.
How is it? Oh, really?
Gas Monkey has a car?
It had the Gas Monkey on the side.
No way.
Viper Exchange. There it
is.
Son of a bitch. They do. See, they all have the glow numbers.
Richard Rollins is a fucker.
Yeah,
and if you're listening and somehow this
thing.
gets back to you, this is Michael Beck, and I'm calling you a dick.
And I'm going to back it up with you.
And we'll quarter mile drag race your bitch.
With the automotive world today, I want you gone.
Yeah. We will drag race you, and we will win. We won't win. There's no way we'll win.
We won't
They have
win.
way too much money.
Not a chance.
But we're going to say on this right now that I will kick your ass with your goatee
I'll
thing
race
and
you.
all their
I'll
hair
race
product.
you in the Omni, and I'll win on the more interesting level.
Actually, we should say whomever you decide to get to race us, we will beat them because obviously you're not going to be driving the car.
Hey-o.
Oh.
Shit's going down.
Man, we got serious.
We
got serious fast.
Yeah. So anyway,
we are calling people out on day one. Not even 10 minutes into it, we're calling our shot.
We got to get this out on the internet.
Oh,
because, and we got to get some publicity going, even if it's bad publicity.
I'm not against it.
So anyway, Katie is here, who's Adam's
fiance
now. Yeah, she's here, and you're having a baby in a month, and so Adam's trying to figure out all the ways he can indoctrinate this child to be with.
I totally don't buy Hot Wheels every time we go to a place that has a Hot Wheel to buy.
How many Hot Wheels have you bought in the last 2 months?
I think I'm at 10 right now. But considering I don't go out much, that's a lot. But what the wonderful thing about Hot Wheels is that they're 94 cents a piece before tax.
Right.
So if you don't count tax, I have less than $10 in this.
That's not bad.
Apparently, they are great tools to use for potty training, which is way down the road, but it's good to be prepared.
Huh. I never would have thought of that.
Instead of giving them candy or something,
Give them Hot Wheel cars.
give them a Hot Wheel.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, then I also pointed out on your Facebook page that you got all these Hot Wheel cars and no track, so you need to be investing in that.
Actually, I was looking on eBay because I was kind of hoping I could find like a big lot of used ones and just get a shitload of tracks because they're actually not cheap.
No, not at all.
And I haven't found something I'm going to buy yet, but I think that's the route I need to take.
So
I also was going to make a Craigslist saved search on my app on my phone so that I get notified.
So the Delta Wing is a Panaz car, however you say that?
I believe it's somehow related to Panaz, yes.
Okay. Anyway, sorry, sidetracked. It just said Delta Wing Panaz.
I don't know that they were originally developed by Panaz, but I believe they're involved in it now.
Okay, because it was designed by Nissan, because the Nissan...
Okay,
Nissan was, I don't know, I think Nissan bought into the designer's idea and powered the original one. I don't know that they were the original designer.
Is that an Audi?
Yeah,
yes,
just murked that R8. Just destroyed it.
I'm pretty sure it took pole. Last I checked, it took pole.
It's got a tiny engine in it.
It's stupid tiny, like a 1-something.
The car doesn't make sense, man. You look at the specs, it does not make any sense at all.
Looks like a video game, like all lies.
Yeah.
It's on Gran Turismo.
Oh.
It's one of my favorite cars to drive because it's so goofy. So the problem with it from a driver's perspective, is that because the middle is what's in front of you is very narrow.
Yes.
And what's behind you is much wider.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone's used to whatever is in front of you is the same width as whatever is behind you. So if I made it through the front of the car, I should make it through the back of the car.
Not the case.
Not the case. And the other problem that they've been plagued with for a long time is that people would hit them because it is way smaller than a normal car.
Right.
So people, they'd be coming up behind someone and they couldn't see them. They'd go for a pass and game over. That happened a couple of races.
I can see that.
So, sorry to go back to the track thing. So I did, when I was a kid, I had the slot cars. Was it slot cars? The electric slot cars?
They're expensive.
They are pricey, but my dad had them from when he was a kid or something like that. So then
my parents had a set I played with as well.
So the tracks for the Hot Wheels cars, what do those look like?
The orange strips, like 3 feet of it, and then you got the little plastic piece that
they
clicks
just
them together.
join together. Then you can get like loops, and you can get these little things that'll shoot the car and make it go faster. But most of them are just gravity driven and fairly short.
I am convinced I have a couple $100 worth of that stuff back at home.
I had a bunch. I don't know that my parents still have
next time I'm home, I'll
so
grab you some.
why are these things expensive? Because they're just plastic track
because
things.
they've turned them into these spectacles where they're all themed and they have like these attachments and you shoot them through all these crazy things and then they plaster something down the side of it and charge you $35 for it.
Oh, that's kind of bullshit because it's just plastic.
Some of the cars, I noticed the packaging says that they're like optimized for the Hot Wheels track or something. I think that they're the right width to fit on that track.
Okay.
Ideally.
Yeah, because they're probably all a little different depending on when you bought them and who actually manufactured them.
My number one rule, because my family asked me this, my number one rule for the Hot Wheels is that they have to be real cars. I don't want any of these fake ones.
Well, you know, like the hot dog or like any of the weird...
Well, they have like some weird prototype made-up cars sometimes.
They'll do like a theme where they'll make a bunch of ocean creatures. They'll have like a shark and a whale and stuff like that, and then they'll have like exhaust pipes coming out of their gills.
Oh, I remember the shark from back in the day.
Yeah, and I don't want those for my child.
No, I get that.
If he picks them out, that's fine, but I'm not going to put that on him. Because race car.
Although you have bought him a Corvette and a Silverado now, so
I bought him a Gulf liveried Corvette only because I have a real weakness for Gulf livery.
What he meant to say is he has a huge hard-on for fucking Gulf liveried anything.
It's true. The Omni's probably going to get one someday. It's going to be a wrap, but so what?
That's fine.
Since everybody's hated on my fake carbon fiber wrap.
Please don't fake carbon fiber.
Not everybody's hating.
Are we going to go down this route right now of bad modifications? Because
can I put one more thing about the Hot Wheels before we go down that?
Sure.
Yes.
One thing I've been incredibly impressed about the Hot Wheels is their level of detail. I bought a 240Z, and it has a CP sticker on the side of it. And if it was a SCCA club car, it would be in C production, which is what that class is. So they took the time or modeled the car after one that already existed, whatever the case may be, but they made sure that its class designation was accurate. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they were probably working off a photo of somebody else's car, and they just copied that directly off there, if I had to guess.
Yeah, but they could have changed it or not put it on there or, done whatever they wanted to.
It's true. They could have.
But they left it.
Fair enough.
It's better than putting DP on there.
Hey, I'm in DP, sir.
Oh, my bad.
No, that's not true. You're in XP now.
Fiat's still in DP.
Yeah.
No.
So it's fun. So maybe we should go down that route first. We should talk about
the topic of the night.
Yeah, talk about...
We should probably introduce our cars before we introduce our poor decisions.
Kind of the whole point of this podcast is talking about cars and how we got here and all that stuff. So maybe we should start there. So I'm going to make Adam go first. You can start wherever you want to, whatever bad decision you want to start with, or cars that you own.
I think we should introduce the cars we currently own.
Every car we've owned, stuff like that.
Let's start with the cars we currently own.
Okay.
So my daily driver is a 2001 S10 Extreme that I got with the engine in a pile in the back and a turbo kit. We rebuilt the motor. It's basically a stock motor. I didn't do anything except put a little bit better pistons in it. And it's super laggy and relatively slow, but I like to drive it like it's really fast. And I like to run it out of oil. Those are my two favorite things to do with it.
The internet loves talking about turbos and stuff, so you should probably tell turbo you have?
It's a TD05. It's a Mitsubishi flange because I didn't want any of that Subaru action. Actually, that wasn't my choice, but
Somebody just got a huge boner from listening to that. I'm just telling you that right now.
so anybody out there with a TD04 that has a Mitsubishi flange on it, wants a TD05, low mileage, hit me up because I want a smaller turbo, see if it's less laggy.
Had oil in it for most of his life.
As far as I know.
Allegedly. Anyway, what else do you have?
And then I actively race locally doing autocross stuff. A 1984 Dodge Omni GLH that is currently mostly built for street prepared. Right? Yeah, street prepared. So it's a pretty mild engine build. It made 120 horse and 135 foot-pounds of torque at the front wheels. This winter, I bought a supercharged. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Sorry, the Delta Wing is.
I don't.
No,
No,
it's not the Delta Wing.
That's
It's
an
not.
open. It's an open cockpit
Okay.
prototype.
Yeah,
car.
20
Sorry.
hours left, 17 minutes. There's a car just sitting in the middle of the
Right
road.
in the middle of the
Yeah.
entrance,
And they have
to one
not
of these
stopped. I
corners.
don't.
Our video is
get it.
kind of rendering, so we're not really sure what it is, and we only got one camera shot of it, and it's from the back.
At least they got caution out, but I'm kind of surprised.
Oh! Shit.
That's the Delta Wing, I think.
No, it's not.
Oh, I don't.
it
So
was just prototype.
basically, what happened
Someone
is
just ran right
the
in the
caution's
back.
out, and somebody ran right into the back of it, like they weren't even looking in front of them. I mean, I know it's dark, but the caution was out, and yeah, that's a Delta Wing that ran into the back of
Yep,
that.
the Delta Wing mother trucker.
Andy
no, that's
Myrick.
not the Delta Wing. Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
it
that
is.
is-
It
that
says
says it
Delta
right
Wing
there.
on it.
So Andy Myrick ran right into the back of whatever that other car was that we couldn't really
It
tell
was
what
a
it was. So,
prototype.
yeah, it was
I'm
a
not sure
prototype of some
what
kind. They all
class.
kind
I
of
don't know the prototype classes that well.
They look pretty similar, but yeah, that thing is pretty dead. The front of it's. Here we go. We're gonna watch
Oh,
a
yeah.
replay.
Okay, I thought the Delta Wing was the car that was stalled. My bad.
Boom.
Well, that's weird because he was on the brakes almost out of the camera shot, and he still plowed into the back of that thing. I know that was a bad place for that car. 'cause
Turns out that narrow contact patch in the front is bad under braking. Oh,
that is a nasty
God.
rod.
That's a bad view. I did not enjoy that at all.
That's just
Yeah.
a bad day all around.
Is that an
see,
Audi?
that's their open cockpit prototype class. I don't.
Oh, I can't tell what it
So
says on
I know
the side.
last year they joined two different racing things. I know the prototype class, like that one that's going through right there, that's a Daytona prototype, and they like always say Corvette on them. I'm pretty sure they're all LS powered. I don't remember who builds the chassis, but then there's another prototype class, at least one other prototype class, and one car makes more power, but the other car has more downforce or something like that. And they were kind of wondering, they're in the same classes, but they're completely different types of builds, and they were kind of wondering if they could make interesting racing that way. I don't think it worked out though.
So I don't know if the Panaz Delta Wing car driver is out. There's a lot of looking inside the car like he's still in there.
Still can't get over how tiny that car is.
Yeah, it's not very big.
It's bigger than it used to be too. The
Oh, is it?
closed, the open cockpit one was
Basically a motorcycle.
it's silly small.
Wow.
So anyway, while they try to sort that out,
We'll get back to our.
you said you were
topic.
racing.
Yeah, so I have an 84 Dodge Omni GLH. This winter, I made an eBay purchase of a supercharger kit that was originally developed by Carroll Shelby and Paul Rossi before Carroll Shelby decided to go with turbos for his special editions that he built. Why this guy was parting that car out, I'll never understand, but I saved at least this part of it. I got it bolted on the car. I'm still working on how I'm going to fuel it and whether or not I have way too much compression because I'm afraid I have a bit too high compression for boost. We'll see how it goes.
Find out the hard way.
I got a whole spare motor and two spare heads, and
If you're not blowing
really-
shit up, this isn't fucking racing.
and I have a really tiny
outta
bank
here.
account, so I'll figure it out.
It'll all come together in the end, I think. Maybe. Or you'll run out NA.
Worst comes to worst, I'll drive the S10 for a couple of weeks or a couple of months at an autocross here and there.
So, Robbie, tell us about your cars.
All right. Well, I currently drive a 2013 Nissan Rogue, front wheel drive, no bells or whistles, nothing special. If it was,
Don't worry, we make constant fun of him for
oh
it.
man.
Adam's a hater. Adam
Well,
hates
we have drastically different views on what a daily driver is. So to me, a daily driver is the most boring, most practical, easy to drive car you can get, and that one I don't ever have to work on besides doing maintenance.
I have a live-in girlfriend who has one of those. Doesn't have a job, so whenever my impractical, unreliable daily driver breaks down, I just drive hers.
Yeah, I'm forever alone. So I have my car and my race car. So that would be my boring daily driver. And then I also have a 1995 Nissan 240SX with an S14 SR20 swapped into it. Last year I had a different SR20 with stock internals. I was doing 325 horse and 272 foot-pounds of torque. This year I should be sitting right around 450 horse, although I am not. It's currently not running. My tune is not right, and I've changed way too much.
This car's going to be terrifying when he's done.
It's going to be absolutely scary. But that's going to be the ongoing chronology of this podcast is capturing the trials and tribulations of trying to get these cars to actually work and get to races and do things that we actually think that they may do at some point. But for the most part, it's probably going to be failure and us yelling at each other and calling each other out on our bullshit.
You chose a much more reliable platform than the rest of us, so it'll probably be mostly me and Robbie talking about our trials and tribulations.
See, you say that, but my car was in a field last year, so there was a lot to do. So who knows what's not going to work, and most of the parts came from Craigslist. So my daily driver is a 2013 Veloster Turbo, and my family does a lot of racing, and even though Adam's family does a lot of racing, he doesn't like talking about muscle cars very much. I may talk about that. We've got a 74 Fiat 124 Spider.
Those are Daytona prototypes.
That's been partially converted to a race car. It's not a full-blown race car, but it's got
Those
dual...
aren't the GTs, no. Those are the Daytona prototypes.
All right, never mind. All right, go on.
It's got dual Webers on it. I don't know what it makes for power. It's probably pretty similar to what Adam's car makes. It's got
safe to assume, I think.
It's got 5.5-inch wheels on it, which is the bane of its existence in an open diff, and I hate every part of that. But when you drive it, it makes a glorious noise, and I think that's probably why it's not ended up on Craigslist or Racing Junk.
And then, because he's got a terrible time of letting things go.
I can't sell cars. It pains me extremely badly, which is why between my dad and me, we own like 11 cars now or something. It's just like roadkill. It's that roadkill life, and you guys just don't understand.
No, I get it. I totally get it.
I just don't have that real estate.
Yeah, that's nice having his shop where I can put crap in there and store it.
I live too far away from my dad to be able to do that.
And then the other car that we're working on that it may be done this year, it may not be. It
will be.
It's an 86 RX-7, and before the internet explodes, it's not LS swap, it's LT swapped. And no, I don't mean the new LT, I mean the old LT. Not the one from the 70s that came in the Corvette. I'm talking about the one from the mid-90s that has tons of OptiSpark issues. So,
but you put LS heads on it, didn't you?
No, it's just got Trans Am.
Well, isn't there a little bit of history to your engine?
Yeah, it's a whole deal. So, bought this car for...
I hate him for this motor. I just want everyone to know that ahead of time.
Bought this car
I don't hate it for it.
$600. It had an LS in it.
That's all you paid for it?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Attaboy.
So it had an LS in it. The guy that owned it, he has the Boosted GTU page on Facebook. There's a plug for you. Plug that guy for free.
GTU?
GTU, yeah.
Because Boosted GT is also a thing. That's
the Cobra, though, isn't it?
That's the Cobra.
Yeah.
So let's make sure that we
Boosted GTU.
GTU.
Yeah, it's a Gen 2 RX-7. I think it's maybe an 88. I'm not 100% sure on that. But it's in really, really good shape. But it had the traditional Apex Seals issues when he bought it because it had no miles on it. So he bought it, and it was Apex Seals were shot because it had no miles.
So I had one in college that was given to me, a Turbo 2 car, that had like 55,000 miles on it, and the Apex Seals were blown on it. So
yeah. So he pulled that engine and put the engine that was in my white car in that car, I think, or he put a different LS in it. I'm not sure. It's got a 6-liter with a pretty big turbo on it. But anyway, so it had a V8 in it before, and it was going to sit in this field and rot, and we pulled it out of the field. And so then we were looking for a motor to put in it, a lot of debates about what to do there, and we found on Copart a 95 Caprice, police package Caprice, which comes with an LT1, which is the same motor, with the exception of the heads and the cam as the Corvette, the Trans Am, and the Z28.
Of that era.
So, pulled that motor out, thinking we're going to have to rebuild it, because we bought that car for $500. Turns out that block only had, 10,000 miles on it.
As a rebuilder?
It had a rebuild sticker on the side of it. And when we opened it up and checked the cylinder bore, it was bored 10 over, or 30 over, so it's a 360.
So you paid $500 for the car.
Yep.
How much did you sell it for minus motor?
We sold the car for $250, and then I sold some other parts and stuff on eBay, and we about broke even on that. So it's basically a free motor.
And This is why I hate him.
Free motor, and then we found some heads on Craigslist that had been rebuilt for, what was it, $120 or something stupid like that.
They were silly cheap.
The guy that bought them, I think he had a lot of them, and he rebuilt these and had planned to maybe have them as spares, and then never did anything with them, and they were just sitting there, so we sold them. So we bought those, and I can't remember what happened exactly, but I can't remember exactly what happened. He took $20 off them or something like that, or my dad tried to give him $20 more for them, and he wouldn't take them. And then I went to sell the center console out of the Caprice, which some guy wanted. It was on Craigslist, and the guy said he wanted it to put in his hot rod, and it was $25. And I drove it 50 miles because I was headed back home from the shop when I used to live in Ames. And I showed up, and the guy handed me $45, and I said, I can't take that. And he said, yeah, you're going to take it because you drove it up here. I'm like, I live up here. He's like, no, you're going to take it. So it's the blessed Caprice RX-7 project. So hopefully that good luck continues, but that may have been it.
You got a deal on the tranny too, didn't you? Because you were going to go with a
4L60.
4L60.
Yep, so we didn't sell a 4L60, so that's still sitting there. So we're going to put that in there with a computer box that controls that. I don't know who makes that box. If
you
it's
can
comp
paddle shift it, which is actually pretty cool.
I have fun with that.
We may do that at some point, but those 4L60s are notorious for not taking a ton of abuse in that spec anyway. So we decided maybe that wasn't a good idea, and then we found a T56 on Craigslist for $700, which somebody right now is fucking throwing paper and flipping a desk right now because usually those are about $1,500.
Yeah, that's stupid cheap for a T56.
T56, that's the same transmission. That's a Tremec transmission. It's the same one, I mean, relatively speaking, that they put in the Vipers, the Aston Martins, all that stuff. So it's really rated.
It's race car ready.
Yeah, it's rated for a lot of power. Now, it depends on who used to own it. That's the only issue is, you don't know what somebody's done to it in 20 years.
Then you got a deal on the rear end that you're putting in it too, didn't you?
Yep. So
that wasn't a bad price.
Found a Turbo 2 differential. I don't know how far away that was.
This is originally an NA car for those.
Yeah, most of this stuff was stripped out anyway. So we found a Turbo 2 differential, drove out to, where did we go?
Dubuque?
Yeah, I think we went to Dubuque.
One of the D towns, either Dubuque or Davenport.
Yeah, for like $200. And then bought that and drove it back.
We had to keep it on the down low that we were putting it in an RX-7 that was V8 swapped, because sometimes those diehard rotary guys will go off the handle.
Oh yeah.
And he was trying to
Give
you want to buy this?
Parts.
You want to buy this? No, I don't need any of that stuff. I just need the rear end.
He had some turbo injectors and he had some other stuff. I was like, no, I'm good, man.
But then when he pulled up in a V8 swapped S10, so I don't think he would have cared.
Maybe not.
No.
But it was a haggard V8 swap.
She was tired. Said he only paid like $1,200 for it or something.
Yeah, it was something super cheap.
Only a couple days ago.
I would have given him that kind of money for it.
Yeah, but
regardless of its poor condition,
it needed some putting back together. I don't think the body was awful because those early ones, it was like an early one,
yeah,
like
it was
a 90.
Square body, first gen.
Those things rust apart. So who knows? It could have been completely
everything
rusted.
rusts apart in Iowa.
Yeah, we're in Iowa, by the way. There's a lot of salt here. It's actually sometimes if you go north, cars are better there because they don't salt.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So anyway, and then I've got a '79 Camaro that's, I don't know, restored is not the right term for that. It was refurbished at one point. That was my high school project, and I just kind of screw around with that. At some point, I'll actually do something with that, but it just kind of is what it is for now.
You didn't talk about the Fiat.
I kind of talked about the Fiat. You were talking about that stupid prototype car at the time. It's got dual Webers
My bad.
in it. And a cherry
that's right. My bad.
Dual Webers and a cherry bomb, which is not the worst sound in the world. It's got stickers on it. That's all that really matters.
That's true.
So we do.
You have a bike too, don't you?
I have a bike. I haven't done much with that. It's torn apart right now too. Cause
we can get bike people in on this too.
I can take shit apart. Yeah. So I've got a '99 Suzuki Katana or a GSXF 750 for the real nerds. So I've got one of those, and I've partially gone through it. I'm going through it again. I think I'm going to strip it down and build a naked out of it and do a build thread for that at some point, but I haven't done much with that.
Is that fuel injected?
Nope, carbureted. Hate it.
I was going to say if that's
pain in the ass. I went to rebuild the carburetors. So, by the way, carburetors suck. I hate everything that has to do with carburetors.
Whoa.
Fuck your Webers. So I say that.
A hater.
I say that. I say I hate Webers. And then I go and take the Fiat out and do 80 miles an hour on a closed road, closed by police in Mexico, of course.
In Mexico.
In Mexico. And it's just, there's something, the
They're
buzz,
special.
the feeling, the sound. It's something about the intake noise of air and fuel being pulled through those Webers.
That's why I can't wait for what the Omni's going to sound like with that supercharger on it, because apparently these older style superchargers were very loud, and then the belt drive that they use was the loudest type of belt drive that you could get on top of carburetor, and the carburetor is going to be sticking through the hood, so all that intake noise is just going to be in your face. It's going to be fantastic.
So you could look like a redneck because you got a hole in the top of your car.
It's functional.
Carburetor sticking through
It had to happen.
Yeah, a lot of Corvette owners say that too, and they cut the hole in the hood. Camaro owners just cut that hole right in the hood.
It's because they bought a high-rise intake manifold because they thought it'd give them another 30-wheel horse.
And then it didn't fit, and they didn't realize that. They all fucking do that. There's one in Ames right now. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, and he's got that little blower hat on it. And after I asked you about whether or not I should put a blower hat on mine, and I got to thinking about what you said, and I was like, son of a bitch, I've made fun of that guy. I can't do it.
Yeah. Well, he must have changed it then, because before all he had was the O'Reilly Special paper filter sticking through the hood.
My guess is he got caught in the rain once.
And that didn't happen again. Yeah.
Now he's got that blower hat thing on it.
Yeah, after he's probably hydrolocked that engine and it's completely fucked.
It's a C4 Corvette for those keeping track. I don't know what year because they're all the same to me.
It's probably what probably happened was he had that stupid crossfire thing on there. We're really getting into some stupid geeky shit right now. But at some point...
That's the group I'm hoping to attract with this, frankly.
So at some point... So it wasn't really GM's fault. They had to do something with fuel injection. It was getting to that point where they had to come up with a fuel injection system. So they came up with this crossfire thing, which is 2 throttle bodies on a manifold sitting diagonally on the engine. It's universally the worst fucking Corvette motor that was ever made. And it might be the worst motor that GM ever made because it's just a piece of shit.
Which is why they're not worth anything.
You can buy these things a dime a dozen. So the problem with them is that they don't make any power. So they make like 180 horsepower. Because they were so throttled down, and you can't do anything to modify them because of just the way it's set up, and that manifold flows were the shit, and those throttle bodies aren't modifiable. It just kind of is what it is, and the only way to fix it, which maybe back in the 80s GM knew this, is you just pull that off, you put some metal block shit on the top of it, and now you got 300 horsepower, and off you go.
Race car.
Yep. Because that's what you did in the 70s and 80s, is you bought a car, you immediately pulled the top end off of it, and you put... I don't know if it would have... I guess it would have been Edelbrock parts in the 70s.
Yeah, they've been around a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
You can get flathead Edelbrock stuff, so I'm guessing they've been around since the 50s at least.
Probably when flatheads came out, that may have been...
With zero research involved, I'm going to go with 50s.
So for those of you that know the history of Edelbrock, you can find us at our Facebook page. That's 10 Tenths Podcast. Find that on Facebook and let us know what you know about the Edelbrock history.
I'll get it ready right now.
So anyway, it's a terrible design. So please don't put that blower hat thing on.
I'm not going to. The carbon fiber ones are pretty cool looking, but I can't do it. And
so there actually is a carbon fiber blower hat.
Well, look at look at like a modern top fuel car.
Oh, but aren't those probably custom fab?
But you can buy them that bolt onto the top of a excuse me, you can buy them that bolt on the top of a 4-barrel carburetor.
Oh, okay.
So you're saying we could put carbon fiber on your Omni?
Yeah.
All right, I'm in. And
so Robbie's an engineer, and he gets a real hard on for anything that's carbon fiber.
Carbon fiber, everything, guys.
I'm a little disappointed that you're not like carbon Kevlar or something like that.
That's better, but I mean,
shit's expensive.
It's whatever. If carbon fiber, anything. And if you're all wondering, Edelbrock's been around since 1938.
That's
so
God. What were they doing in 38?
Making flathead stuff.
Has Flathead been around that long? I thought it was 40s, but maybe it was.
Oh, yeah, spin out.
Oh man, got to spin out in the middle of some pretty
tons
intense
and tons
traffic.
of traffic. So we're at 1959
diving
right
left
now.
and right.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
They must have just come off a caution.
They just started.
Yeah, they just came off cleaning up that wreck, I would imagine.
Is that the Target Clarendon car?
Yeah, that's another one of the.
What the hell was
Daytona
that? Was that a
prototypes.
McLaren with some underglow on it? What the
I
hell
don't
was
think
that?
there's any McLarens.
I am not
field.
mad about the underglow or all the other lights they have on these cars this year.
Robbie at heart
It's
is a tuner.
You wanted to say Ricer. I know you. I know you did.
Ricer. Robbie's a Ricer.
Fucking know you
Robbie's
did.
a fucking Ricer. He's got a 240.
Fuck you.
Robbie's the most mainstream guy we've got here. He's the one that brings us back to earth when Michael and I like go off the deep end on crazy, eccentric, weird stuff.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is true. You own a
so
fucking
true.
240.
You own a 240 on a Nissan Rogue.
But I don't drift.
You wanted. Yes, you did. You drifted in high school and you broke your
I
body
drifted
kit.
I drifted
You're the one.
You were
into a
drifting
curb.
and broke a goddamn body kit. That is the definition.
That doesn't count.
You're the one who wants to make a traveling Drift King trophy that wouldn't ever travel.
That's true. I also, for the record, I didn't just zip tie my body kit back together. I fucking fixed it.
I'll give credit where credit is due. His body kit is, number one, it's very modest. It's a good looking setup, and it's fitted properly. It's molded. The side skirts have been molded in. It looks good on the car.
My biggest mistake was molding in the rear bumper. It looks great. It's very smooth.
But it's never coming
It's
off.
so not functional at all. So if someone rear ends me or anything like that, I'm totally fucked.
That's when you turn into the race car.
Absolutely. That's what it's pure
Full
race car after that.
race car.
So we just need to pay somebody to run into Robbie.
Please
You
don't.
should just drive around in Ames. It'll happen.
Nah, I've driven at names and not get an accident.
Did you drive in the snow?
Why would I ever drive that car on the snow?
There was a dude in Ames for a while that had a C6 Corvette that was driving it in the snow.
Is that one of those college students?
The very first snowstorm we had this year, I saw an Asian kid drifting around in his V10 R8. So that happened.
That probably happens every year.
That's a lifestyle that we will never understand.
You're right. But it's a lifestyle I desperately need to live.
So we've had this conversation before. I don't think that we would be who we are in our appreciation for weird race cars if we had that much money, though, because we would just buy it.
No,
an
but
R8.
in typical my generation fashion, I blame my parents for not being not being super rich.
Absolutely,
it's their fault that I don't have a trust fund.
Yeah,
they should have worked harder to allow me to slack off more.
100%. Yeah, if my parents had worked harder, I would have to work less hard now and have more shit.
That's our generation, by the way.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Michael and I have
won't
had
argue.
this discussion before.
No, I won't argue with that at all. I mean, you find one person at any college that has grease on their fingers, they're probably not going to graduate.
It's probably a tech school otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant.
Yeah, and that in itself is unfortunate.
Well, I would say.
Robbie and I both went to tech schools.
No.
too.
My point is that that is looked down upon.
Right.
Robbie went to school for 7 years.
2 degrees. Well, I'm going to point that out. Automotive technology and then mechanical engineering.
Lots of people go to school for 7 years.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot
doctors.
of doctors go to school for 7 years.
Yeah. Hey.
Hey man, I knocked it out.
I took 5 years because I had internships. Give me a break.
Hey, guess what? I got it knocked out in 3.5 years, and I took half a year off to do an internship.
drink.
Yeah. No, I was drinking full time.
My bad.
I went to
I would
University
also
of Iowa. Go Hawks! But guess what? There's a lot of drinking there.
Isn't it a top 10 party school? Pretty
Usually is.
consistently?
It's
Almost
pretty-
every year.
Yeah, and it's usually pretty close to the
Well,
top.
I'd also like to point out you got a business degree. Well, I got a mechanical engineering degree.
Yeah.
Hey man, I'm doing engineer stuff right now with my business degree. So
Whatever.
That's because you're smarter than the average cookie, but that doesn't mean you had a hard time in school.
No, it was easy for sure. There was definitely a lot of not going to class and a lot of drinking, and I still got like a 3.9 GPA. So
I did a lot of not going to class when I was in college, but it wasn't because I was drinking. I was just too lazy to drag my ass out of bed and go to class.
yeah, that's when you're hungover though. It's way worse.
Oh, I'm
without a
sure
doubt.
it is.
Can't even do it.
Adam has one drinking story and he won't tell anybody about it. That's the only
can't
time he
remember.
drank.
There's 4 hours of my life that no one can account for.
You could assume that you're just doing amazing, incredible things. You don't know.
Yeah.
I assume I was six bitches deep.
I would say so for sure.
Well, if you're drunk at the lakes, I mean, what do you expect?
Were you at the
know
lakes?
He was at
that
the
was
lakes.
the
Oh,
lake.
were you on a boat?
No.
shit.
Well, I don't know. I might have been.
I'd say if you were on a boat, you were at least 6 to 8 sleuths deep for sure. For sure.
But you know that they weren't in the water, so.
Yeah. No. So Robbie and I have this theory. So my family has a
This has gone bad already.
Absolutely.
Before
Let's just get it
before
out
we
there.
go down that road, I want to point out that Michael Becker is complaining about his parents not giving him a trust fund, but he has a fucking lake house at the Lake of the Ozarks.
The Lake of the Ozarks is the trashiest.
I don't care.
It's pretty.
It's
He's
the
like-
trashiest expensive place in the world.
Well, let's
It
just
is,
go to my
yeah.
lake house for the weekend. Fuck, I don't have a trust fund, but let's go to the lake house.
Yeah, fuck
Can't-
off.
can't relate to that.
Please fuck off.
Coming from a farm kid here.
Farm kid, you were just down at my house. Did you see it?
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah,
He's got
well,
a
it's just
shop.
yeah,
I
it's
like
just
it.
a farmhouse though. Katie's showing us something on her phone.
She's trying not to interrupt the podcast.
Yeah, which we appreciate, even though she already did it anyways. The West Des Moines water is drinkable. It's very good.
It's no Ames water. You could bottle that shit and resell it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
What were we talking about?
I don't have
Sleuts.
Sleuts.
Yeah,
So anyway, so we do have. By the way, we don't have a boat because we spent all our money on race cars. So just,
Sleuts is a blue whatever.
Blue Mountain State.
That's a term, right?
We should get on that bandwagon because they've got some pretty serious followers.
Yeah, so if you don't like Blue Mountain State, you can just get out.
I've never watched it.
You're going
It's
to.
pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive. A lot of sleuts. If you don't know what an oil change is, Google it.
I think sleuts is sluts.
Yeah,
for those not in the know.
Well, there's an Urban Dictionary that describes it a lot more
I don't know why.
funny.
Let's not direct people towards Urban Dictionary.
You can go to Urban Dictionary if you want. Adam, this is the wonderful thing about a podcast is that it's uncensored, and anybody that wants to listen to it can listen to it.
We're gonna have that little E next to our name.
Everybody. For everybody.
No, that's not what that E means on iTunes.
What's the E mean?
There's an explicit.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
We're going to be on iTunes?
Yeah, that's what
I don't want to do that. Fucking Apple.
It was a.
It's called. It's called.
He's an Apple hater. He hasn't gotten off the. I used to be that guy. I'm not gonna go out and buy that stuff, but I have an iPhone.
No,
I don't hate him as much as I used to.
Yeah, I've never purchased music through iTunes.
So anyway, sleuths. So Robbie and I decided
he
this
doesn't
morning,
want to let this go.
We got it. People are sitting at home
listening.
There is at least one person listening to this
They need to hear
that
this.
I'm going to send it to, and that they're actually going to listen to the whole thing. They're going to go, "This was mildly entertaining, but really inappropriate." So they're sitting there listening to this, and this person's going, "When is he going to talk about the sleuths?" Because they keep talking about everything else. So anyway, sleuths. We decided this morning, Robbie and I, when we were driving to. I'm not going to say their name because I don't know if I like that.
A local race shop's open house.
So we went there, and I don't even know how we got on this topic, but we decided that sleuths love boats. Because if you're the worst looking dude in the world, if you've got like a hook nose and no chin and like 3 teeth, if you get a nice boat, it's going to be full of.
And the reason we got on this topic was because Michael Beck was telling us about his lake house at the Lake of the Ozarks. And
all right, just let it go. Just let it go. It's all right. It's not.
He's got a dock. Just saying.
Oh, for God's sake.
No, we don't have a dock. We don't have a boat.
Dock.
No, because we don't have a boat.
Yet.
But there's a dock there, I swear.
Well, we could get a dock, but no. We don't have one right now.
It is lakefront, though.
No.
It's not?
No, it's one tier off the lake.
I
told you we weren't rich, you bunch of bitches. We don't have money. No, we don't even have lakefront property.
Back to the sleuths.
So anyway, sleuths love boats because I've been down there at those. There's some parties going on down there. If you want to party somewhere, like you're in college, just go to Lake of the Ozarks because that's where the Anheuser-Busch family used to party, and there was a lot of cocaine.
Iowa Great Lakes is a good place too.
It's another place to do it. So anyway, when you're down there, you see that there's a lot of sleuths. They love boats, but they never get in the water.
Well, yeah, you can't mess up the hair and the makeup.
Yeah.
Then they'll look like dogs.
Yeah. When you got that much makeup on to try to make your face look okay.
Yeah, then you see what they really look like, and you don't want to see
you're out.
You have to be drunk enough not to care.
That's easy enough to do.
So they have to be drunk enough to get into the water, but at that point you're drunk enough not to care, I would imagine.
That's probably true. It's probably late at night.
Also, my standard's pretty low, so I really don't care.
The older I get, the lower my standards become. I say as I sit next to my fiance.
Yeah, I just want to preface.
Imagine how honest you would be if she was gone.
This whole... I don't know. He's being pretty cavalier. This whole conversation's having while Katie is literally close enough to touch Adam.
I've never held back in Katie's presence. She's well aware of that.
She takes it in
for some reason, she likes Robbie and I, and we're having this conversation anyway.
A lot more than the rest of my friends.
That's true. She has not hated us ever.
We don't know that for sure, but
she's not vocal. She's not vocal about it.
I don't have to worry about Michael. He's got a problem with Eskimo Bros. So
Eskimos.
Yeah, I'm not into it. You know how Taco from the league.
Oh, yeah.
Keep talking about sports shows, and I don't watch sports, which is really weird.
I don't even know what the league
it's about
is.
fantasy football.
The league you should watch too, because it's hilarious. It's like Blue Mountain State, but
a little tamed down,
and a little bit
for the 30-year-old crowd.
More money. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And there's a guy named Taco on there who bangs sleuths constantly.
It's really funny.
And he is a complete fuck up and does drugs all the time, but somehow he brokers these really weird deals and is like a millionaire. Random deals, and he makes tons of money.
Is this what you're trying to base your life around?
I wouldn't be mad if it happened, but no, because I don't know if you can get to being that low and then just all of a sudden have these random weird things happen to you where you make tons of money and accidentally, like that one time you bought the Dallas Cowboys website accidentally because they forgot to renew it, and then sold it back to him and made like $1 million or some stupid shit like that.
If he sold them their website for $1 million, he wildly undersold his opportunity there.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a fictional show.
I know, it's a fictional show. I'm plot hole. I'm the asshole. My bad.
We're discussing a fiction.
I have no idea how we got here.
No.
How did we
Why
get
are we
here?
talking about sports on a car show?
Please get back to our topic of
race cars.
Anyway,
vehicles.
I'm sorry. So where were we, though?
I think Katie wants to say something.
Does Katie want to say
We
something?
got to that topic because you were talking about sluts.
Sleuths.
Yeah, how do we get...
Talking to the mic. It's right here.
I can hear her. I got the headphones on. I can
We're
hear
good.
her.
All right.
But how did we get to sleuths?
How do we not get to sleuths?
We're always on sleuths, aren't we? Well,
it's
I'm
cars-
not.
No.
I am in a
This kinda
committed
go-
relationship, and I love my girlfriend and my as yet to be born child.
Wow, way to pull in the women boat there, Adam. Jesus Christ.
Well, it's like
You want to suck up anymore? Are you done?
no, he's good.
I don't really know where else to go with that one.
Well, it's like the conversation we started up this morning. It was about how when I got into cars, it was during the Hot Import Nights Fast and Furious stuff. And I was convinced that every time I go to a car show, it's just going to be like at the car shows, Fast and Furious. So it's just going to be...
I've been to a lot of car shows.
Yeah, hot, half-naked sleuths and a bunch of these hopped-up cars. And
That never happens.
That's
because
what I always
when we were
wondered.
when we were pulling up to the shop, what we said was going to happen was it was 10 o'clock in the morning, but we were going to come around the corner, and all of a sudden it was going to be dark outside, right? And everybody's going to be rolling up with underglow. Yep, there's going to be a lot of bass, and there was going to be some dudes, tandem drifting around the corner.
God, that would have been way better.
None of
It
that.
didn't
None of that
happen.
happened. Yeah, it didn't happen.
So yeah, I always want to go race cars and sleuths. It goes hand in hand for me.
It's because they're not any good at tandem drifting around here.
Well, I think the real problem is that we've been lied to by Vin Diesel for like the past 15 years.
I think we should go have a personal chat with him about it.
I don't think I really want to talk to him in person about it.
No, I would like to hide in the
What?
corner. I would like to hide about it and then write
Can we
about
get
it.
an
The problem is someone's going to bring up Paul Walker. He's going to get really mad. Someone's going to get hit.
Why would you bring up Paul Walker?
Yeah, why would you? You're an asshole. Why would you bring up Paul Walker right now?
I
Paul-
really
Paul
liked
Wa-
Paul Walker. That
Paul
guy was a
Walker's the man.
diehard car guy. He loved racing. He was my favorite guy in that show
Oh, without a doubt.
by a huge margin.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that series is dying with him. There's no.
That's going to
no
be.
point in seeing 8.
No, they're making
9.
another one.
I know. There's no point in seeing it though.
I haven't
It's
even
over.
seen 7 yet.
It's not worth it. Don't watch it. I watched it last night. Don't do it.
The only reason I want to see it is because there's a Lycan Hypersport in it.
You won't like it then.
Do they crash it?
They destroy the fuck.
Is
out
that
of
the
it.
one that they run out of the
Yeah.
multiple floors up
Yeah.
on a building?
Yeah. Don't
Wow.
watch it.
How did they get a car up there?
They're in Abu Dhabi.
It's
Spoiler alert. How do they get a car up there?
They don't. They didn't put it up there. The rich.
Oh, it was
the
up
rich
there to
prince
begin
put-
with?
Yeah. It's
Oh.
not to mention the fact that it's a hypersport, but it's also bulletproof. So let's take a 1,400-pound car and then put bulletproof stuff on it. I don't like this topic. Let's go anywhere else.
So Barrett Jackson just sold the Jetta from the first Fast and the Furious last
week.
or like a few days ago. And one of my friends sent me a screenshot because he was watching it on TV, and he goes, "There it goes." And I replied, "I hope they put brake calipers on it." And then like 2 days later, I see on Facebook that Car Throttle had made the same reference about not having brake calipers on it.
I still every time I watch that, I forget to look, and sure enough, every picture doesn't have it. I never look and see that it's not there.
So I don't remember which movie it is.
It's the first one.
No, another
Oh, okay.
problem. But there's the one where they're drug running through Mexico and they're
4.
running through those caves.
Yeah, number 4.
At the end of it, Paul Walker is in a Subaru,
Yeah.
an STI,
Yeah, and he wrecks it.
and it's upside down, and it has no drive shafts or rear diff.
No, there's no drivetrain. The interior is completely gutted. It is not even close to the car that he was driving 10 seconds earlier.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't even make an attempt at covering
Nope.
that one up.
No, that was bad.
which is why I said earlier it's like the worst car movie series of all time. Not that there's been any car movie series, but it's terrible.
This has been a long time ago, but I once read an interview with Reese Millen, and he did most of the stunt driving for Tokyo Drift.
No, I like
And
that
he
one.
said that scene where Han and whatever the other guy's name is, the guy that they try to pass off as a high schooler, even though he's nearly
Like,
30,
damn near 30.
from the looks of it,
Yeah.
the main character.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
That scene where they're out in the FD and Han is drifting around those girls at the stoplight.
They're called sleuts.
The sleuts,
the
my
stoplight.
mistake. You have the skyline, because apparently that's what happens in Japan, or at least they're leading
If that
us to
doesn't
believe
happen,
them.
I don't want to go to Japan.
I'm good with that. But Reese Millen said that was an incredibly hard scene to shoot because that FD had like 335s in the back
Ooh.
and a basically stock drivetrain, and it didn't make enough power to do that. And he had a really hard time holding drift around that car for that shot.
That's the problem with that whole scene, is that you don't do anything with the engine. But why didn't they put different tires on it then?
Why did they?
Why did they not?
Go with something different.
Well, they had that ridiculous
Wide body.
Veilside wide body kit on it,
Which cost $12,000.
and that's the
Yeah.
that's the only way you're going to get those tires to fill out is if you run a 335 in there, and it looks stupid if you ran a 195 series.
Yes.
Get some spacers.
Yeah, that'll
Oh,
work.
man.
It's called eBay.
CGI, it'll fix that right
Get
up.
some eBay spacers.
Something
on there.
you'll love, Michael. There's a video floating around on the internet where I believe Mighty Car Mods goes into the shop of the guy that builds a lot of those cars for the most recent movies, and he puts 500 horse LSs in basically all of them because they're cheap, they're reliable, and they make a lot of power.
Fuck yeah, I've been saying this, well, really for a year, because I just got into this recently. But yes,
But he is die hard into that.
that's why you
lifestyle.
LS swap the world. Adam's trying to tell me that these 4GT Taurus motors are better, and I'm not buying it.
I didn't say they were better. I just said for the class that car was built in, they can make a more competitive car that way.
Is there an engine displacement limitation?
I never read the class rules, but I'm going to guess that it is your minimum weight is probably based on displacement or something along those lines.
Oh. If anybody knows the Le Mans classing rules for a Ford GT, please find us on our Instagram. We don't have an Instagram page. We should start an Instagram.
We can get an Instagram.
We should start an Instagram.
Robbie's got an Instagram.
We're gonna
all about
find an
Instagram
Instagram.
life.
We're gonna find an Instagram, and it's gonna be 10 tenths podcast. So find that.
Or maybe just 10/10ths.
Either way, we'll make it work.
If we can.
I saw there's a 10/10ths other things, but
Yeah, don't say
They're not-
it,
they're not gonna be in
we'll,
it.
Whoa.
we'll just get sued. Yeah, we just got sued.
Whoa.
We just got sued.
no, we didn't.
Sorry.
We're going to be served a notice
Bad
in about
publicity.
All right,
Still
we'll call
good
it.
publicity.
Yeah, whatever.
some guy's getting in his car right now to service a notice, and this isn't even hit the internet yet.
That's fine.
That I'm aware of.
It's not even in this country.
So anyway, we got a race season coming up.
Yep. We got one calendar of one local region released. And I believe
We can say the regions. So Iowa region, SCCA.
yeah, Iowa region and DMVR.
Yep. So Iowa region's got their calendar out because they're a little.
I thought it was cool that they made all the events
Already.
The
And-
Facebook events, like
Yes.
every single one of them. That's how they released their calendar, which is actually kind of annoying because it's kind of hard to scroll through and look at them all. But at the same time, it's cool because now they're there.
Yep. So I'm assuming they'll reshare all that if they're smart. They'll reshare those.
Well, I'm sure
and
their
email
website's
it.
got to have it posted, like in a list.
Yeah, but I
I
think
just haven't gone there
I
yet.
haven't looked either.
Adam's point was that's going to show up on your. It'll show up on your phone now because everybody's Facebook's linked to their
Yeah,
phone.
I have a Google Calendar that I maintain, and there's like 20 people on it because I posted about it one time on the DMVR Facebook page, and a bunch of people private messaged me with their email addresses asking me to add them because they wanted a way that it was on their phone. So I think the Iowa region made a good move by doing that
Yeah.
because it'll be there indefinitely.
So they've got their calendar out. When's the first race? Is it April?
April 10th.
April 10th or
Seems
something,
early.
if that's the weekend. But
It is.
well, we always schedule this early weekend, and then if it snows, we,
shitty out and we
Yes,
don't
it
do
is.
it
Snow last year.
because it's in Iowa.
yeah. So we have what, 2 months?
Yeah, roughly.
Ish.
For me, it's 3. I never planned to race before May.
Okay, so we have.
I have no intention of racing in April of this year because I'll have a less than 1 month old child. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to leave
Priorities, though.
Katie, and I'm definitely not going to bring him.
Yeah, that'll
Oh,
be
yeah.
that'll
If
be
it
key
was
for him.
June
there.
and it was warm out, then I take. I went to my first drag race at the ripe old age of 2 weeks, and so I'm not opposed to doing it
Born in June.
if he was born in June or July and it was warm out. But it's even if it breaks 60, it'll still be 40 in the morning, and it's too cold.
Yeah.
So it's coming up. We're going to say May. So you got three.
That's safe.
You got 3 months to do what to the Omni?
I need to start out fueling.
So let's back up a minute. So that Omni is that the 2.5 or the 2.2?
It is a 2.2. It's a 2.2 out of an 86 to 88 naturally aspirated car.
So they did a turbo Omni, which you kind of mentioned before when you were talking about the supercharger.
Yep, there's the GLH-T, which is turboed, and the GLH-S, which is the Shelby edition, and made more horsepower than the T and came with Coney adjustables all the way around and a special body kit.
So you've got which motor again?
I have the 22NA.
Okay. So you bought the Carroll Shelby prototype supercharger, which by the way has hand welds on the manifold.
Yeah, it's stupid cool.
Because the intake manifold, I mean, they handmade an intake manifold to try to make that work because it was literally a prototype.
Yeah, it's a one of none, never actually happened thing.
And when I say manifold, I mean it's attached to the supercharger. The intake manifold is the supercharger.
There's 4 bolts on the bottom that there's a little bitty plenum, and then that bolts to the bottom of the supercharger, and that's game. That's it.
So that's it. So you got the issue that you have is that car's carbureted, and it had Weber IDFs on it.
You could say it's an issue.
It's a massive issue. It's a massive issue. If you want to go fast or be reliable.
I had another rare piece actually. It's a dual carburetor intake manifold. It's a Mopar piece. It was actually a produced piece, but not very many of them were sold. And I had 3236 DGAVs, I believe, on there, which are a progressive 2-barrel carburetor.
So obviously that's not going to work with that supercharger because it's just got that one.
Yeah, so it only has one carburetor, and so basically if I tried to use one of those carburetors, I would be having my fuel delivery ability while, I don't know by how much, but increasing my air delivery, which means I'm probably going to run stupid lean,
which is not,
and that's not ideal, especially because stock that motor had 10 and change to 1 compression, and I would venture to guess that head has been milled a bit and that it's probably pushing 11 to 1 compression, and with 7 to 10 psi of boost, that's a lot of bad.
Yeah. So I gave you, and I can't even remember what I gave you. So we had
4040. I don't remember the
name of the
number or their lettering scheme.
So I gave in the whole pantheon of Fiats that we've owned 4. And only one of them is
3 more than anybody else in the history of that car.
And I actually don't think that's true because I think this is what happens to all of them as they get butchered into pieces for other ones.
It's also what happens to Omnis, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, so it's typical of that generation of car that nobody finds to be valuable yet.
Any car that's eccentric and strange, you'll have those diehards that love them and own multiples.
So the whole reason this whole thing started, and the only reason I know how to drive a manual transmission is because of a Fiat 124. And so we had one when I was really young, and it had that Bosch fuel injection system on it, and I was of driving age, and by that I mean 12, and I was driving it down the gravel road, and that's how I learned to drive a manual transmission. And also learned that those Bosch fuel injection systems sucked because they clogged, and there wasn't anything you could do with them. They're mechanical, and it just is what it is.
He hates carburetors, and those are better in his mind.
Yes, in that case, that system is awful. That's the worst thing that you could do to that. The best thing you can do to those is rip those off and put Webers on them. So anyway, so we had that one, and then we bought the one that we have now, which was in pieces. And we built that with, it's got the dual Weber setup on now, which we had to buy from Italy or Spain or some shit like that.
Yeah, that shit overnighted from Italy.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's better than overnight parts from Japan.
I think it is.
I don't know, only if they're Ferrari parts.
Some guy with like a cigarette like half hanging out of his mouth was swearing at his tape thing when he was trying to tape that box shut.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, he was trying to smoke and drink some Di Serono, and then he was putting the thing in the box, and then he decided that the tape was too much, and so he went and had lunch, and then he went and had a nap, and then I'm not really sure how we got the parts, but they eventually showed up, which is typically what happens when you order parts from Italy.
That's why why your brake pads took like 8 months to get here.
Well, that's like my carbon fiber cooling pan thing, or whatever you want to call it. The radiator support cooling dam, or whatever. I don't know what it's called. Anyways, I ordered that from Italy or somewhere in Europe, and it took like 4 weeks to get here.
They ship stuff when they feel like shipping stuff.
Yep.
It's on their timetable.
Have you ever heard Michael has a fantastic Italian accent?
No, my Italian's not good. My Australian's better.
Is it
and
racist?
I don't think I can do it.
Can we do
it's
it?
for sure racist.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
no, I can't.
Anyway,
I can't do it. I can't do it right now.
He gave me a Weber
Can't we
that
put on the
he
spot?
had on the Fiat many, many moons ago.
It was on, so it came from, oddly enough, not too far from where my dad lives in Indianola. There was a guy that had a Fiat 124 that used to be a race car sitting in a field, rotting away, and it had that carburetor on it as well as some cams. And so we pulled that out of that field for like $100. It had that hard top on it, it had the cams in it, and it had that carburetor on it, and I think it had that header that we have now on it for $100. And then we took that to the crusher because that thing had been destroyed by mice.
Ooh.
So
yeah, that's what happens when you park cars in fields.
Yep. So it was destroyed, and then we bought another one out of a guy's shed that also used to be a race car, and I think it had a bar in it, and it had some structural reinforcement, but it was just too far gone to really want to do anything with. So anyway, Adam ended up with a Fiat Carb on his Chrysler product, which is really fitting because he's super pissed about the fact
again.
Yes.
He's super mad because now we're both in this Italian race car club.
I don't own an Italian car.
I think
it's
you-
not
you do.
true.
You do own an Italian car.
No, just because Dodge got bought by Fiat 30 years after the manufacturing of my car doesn't make it Italian.
It is Italian because now Dodge is an Italian company. So in my opinion,
It's dumb.
you own an Italian car. And most other people I talk to about
The
this,
most reliable Italian car ever made.
except for the part where it was gushing fuel out of it.
That was
race.
an owner mistake.
One of the AN lines got loose and decided to spray fuel all over.
Apparently, I don't believe in wrenches when it comes to tightening fuel lines.
He also doesn't believe in air filters.
I have an air filter on the S10 right now. You back off.
He also doesn't believe in oil.
That was a learning curve.
You want to tell that story, Adam?
I don't really want to. No.
Or is that a topic for another time where we talk about all the mistakes we've made?
Yeah, I
we
think
can-
that's
we can-
That's a podcast in itself.
We can come back to that one.
wow.
So anyway, the original topic was we're trying to figure out what we got to get done before race season,
So
which
one
never
cool
happens.
thing about that carburetor is that with the research I did, it looks like it was originally designed to go on Ferraris.
Ferrari 246 Dino.
Yes, so they had 4 of them, and these are non-progressive. The carburetor is non-progressive, and so that Dino had 4 carburetors on it, and each throttle body each barrel on the 2-barrel carburetor fed 1 cylinder. But that's not really important. My car's not set up that way, obviously. But I think that there's a very interesting level of irony with a carburetor built for a Ferrari on top of a supercharger. Robbie just broke his mic
Robbie
stand.
broke his microphone. You're gonna be
touch it. It just broke.
you're gonna be hand holding that. That's all right. That's an
I
old
just bought
mic
you a
clip.
mic stand. It looks
No,
like
you didn't.
it
That's
just
an
fell-
old mic
I
clip.
noticed a part
Just hold
fell
it.
off earlier and just fell to
But
on the table.
Just hold it.
All right,
there's
well.
a certain level of irony to a Ferrari designed carburetor on top of a Shelby designed supercharger, because back when Shelby was building those Cobras, those were threats to Ferrari. Those were, Bob Bondurant was kicking Ferrari's ass at Le Mans in a Cobra. So
Somehow we just full circled this podcast.
We
back
really
to-
did.
That
That's
was
where we started.
really weird.
boom.
We are fucking professionals here. God damn it.
So yeah, I need to figure out how to hook up. My biggest problem is right now is I can't figure out a good way to hook up the throttle, because the throttle where the cable comes around and where the throttle is on the carburetor are not on the same side of the carburetor, and I haven't figured out how to pull it an opposite direction without some sort of complicated pulley system I'm going to have to engineer, and I'm not looking forward to. Robbie looks at me, ears perked, when I say the word engineer.
I can engineer the shit out of that thing. You keep coming with these projects like, hey, can we make this? Can you design this?
And we never do.
And we never fucking do
Never
it.
do
So
anything.
now we have to.
We can do stuff. Robbie, you can keep talking. I'm just going to mess with your microphone now.
All right, well, now that I have to hold it because it broke.
Yeah, it's different.
Which, again, as an engineer, I'm looking at this going, why did the top break and not the bottom? It doesn't make any sense. Why
I would say it was broken already.
Yeah,
I get that,
Well,
but
so I think that thing's probably 30 years old, and it's meant to be kind of rubbery, so you can put different size mics in it.
Oh, yeah,
and I
it's
think it
rigid.
just weakened and fell apart.
You'd think the weight would break the bottom one, though.
Everybody
Doesn't make
stopped
any sense.
listening to what we're doing. So anyway, Robbie, what are you doing before next race season?
Actually, I have a list of things I need to get done, but
Michael loves lists.
I know I have a list and I keep crossing things off, and it's actually getting smaller, but the cost is still high. I need to get it running.
Always is.
Obviously, I got the new SR20 dropped in. Everything's basically needs to get finished, button up, get all fluids in. Obviously, get it running. Changed too much because now my tune's not right and things are just not getting started.
I'm a little surprised that it doesn't start, because while you did change the entire engine and all that stuff, from the computer's point of view, it shouldn't have really changed much.
Well, the thing was, I put the battery in the trunk, and I fought that, which is a mess in itself. And then I completely replaced the wiring harness from what I had, which was a cobbled mess, and I had like a resistance box on my
swaps.
Yeah, I had a resistance box on my injectors, which again never made sense to me. And then yeah.
Are you sure you don't need that?
I don't think it shouldn't. Why the fuck would I need it?
Wait, a resistance box for what?
I don't
my
understand
injectors.
that.
It got added to it.
Who added it?
A performance shop.
Wait a minute.
They got it to start the first time.
Wait a minute. If you add resistance to the electrical signal that's going to your injectors, that's going to completely change.
Yes.
I think
so
that might need to be there.
It was not in the OEM one. It was.
I know, but your tune's set up for that box.
Again, I've completely started a fresh, step by step from AEM how to do it from their.
Yeah, he wiped the tune that he had by a local shop. He saved it, but he wiped it and then put AEM's like base start file.
Oh,
and it still won't start. And yeah, so I have a couple different maps I've tried based off of one that was basically a carbon copy of the original that was running, and then another one that's based on what AEM thinks I should start with. Still no luck there. I need to get a hold of an actual tuner to figure out what I'm doing wrong.
If he had OBD2, this would be a lot easier.
I don't want to talk about it.
Says the guy with an 80s.
Who runs fucking OBD2 on a race car, though?
I would love to, because then I could have all these fun telemetry things.
Yeah, but a real race car doesn't have OBD2.
Anyways,
come on, bro.
Back to mine.
Make it squirt.
Yeah, so we had this problem the first time I put the swap in. We had to go to AEM, and that was a fight in itself, and it sat at a roof shop for over a year before they actually got it started. So I think we're kind of in the same boat I was 4 years ago.
It's weird to me that this is like
a common.
The only thing that may be more common than LS swapping is SR20 swapping 240s specifically, and you have had nothing but problems from day one getting that car to run.
Yep. We'll figure it out. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, it's probably really if you could get it.
It's so simple.
If you could get it to a tuner, they could probably figure it out in a second. It's just a matter of we're not tuners.
It makes me sad that we have to give it to somebody and we can't figure it out on our own.
That's why I refuse to bring it to somebody yet.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
The two big things left. I got Megan front lower control arms coming. That makes fully adjustable Megan race parts all the way across my suspension. Everything's Megan. And then I need to. What else do I got?
Talking to that mic a little bit closer.
Carbon fiber hood, and then I need wider wheels. Other than that, I'm
wheels. He's gonna run slicks this year. I'm excited. I'll have somebody else running slicks with me.
Wait, how are you gonna run slicks if you only got one set of wheels? Are you gonna ride around on those?
I'm gonna ride around on the ones I have now, the RS3s, and then those just be my daily, or not daily, but you know what I mean, to and from.
Can you get them to fit in the car?
Oh yeah, just put the seats down. I'm not gonna bring a car full of sleuts. I'm just gonna have.
You don't know that, Robbie. Well, you don't fucking know that.
Sleuts love 240s.
Yeah, sleuts love. If you're vaping and you own a 240, sleuts are into that.
I don't.
No, he can't. He doesn't own a Subaru.
Yeah, I'm not part
shit.
of that. Shots fired. But no, yeah, I can fit between the trunk and my back seat and my front seat if I don't bring anybody. No problem.
Yeah. So, anything else?
No, I'm good. That's all I've got for this year.
Okay, so I've got so coming up this year, the Fiat is done for once. So last year I did a lot of really dumb shit to the Fiat. So the first thing that happened was I had it out at a race and
It's 4GT.
Was it gonna work?
Oh,
that's a bad day. It's not. Oh, there it goes.
There it goes. All right, we go on finish.
We'll see if it works. So I had the Fiat out the first time, and we actually knew that this was an issue because we pulled the spark plugs out, and one of them was soaked in oil. So we had a valve guide go, and we took it out, and it ran okay, but it was definitely down on power. So we got that fixed, and that took quite a while because the machine shop that we used likes to do circle track stuff and didn't really give a shit about working on our Fiat head. So
he's got we're going to be finding a new machine shop for him now, though.
Yeah, for sure. It's not a difficult head to work on. It's a really easy head to work on, but he just didn't want to do it because he had more profitable circuit track.
I have leads on a couple of local ones to me that I think would be good ones.
Yeah, so we won't make that mistake again because that ate up a pretty good chunk of the race season last year, waiting on that. And then get it back, take it out to Marshalltown, which is a circuit we're going to talk about quite a bit probably because it's a fun little go-kart track.
About a half mile in length.
Yep. You get a couple laps out there. It's an autocross, but you're you're out there, doing a track thing and on like a little mini track. It's kind of cool.
By yourself, so you don't have to worry about rubbing.
Yep.
But you're on a track. You're not trying to figure out which side of the cone you're supposed to be on. So it's a good place to learn how to do what you're doing what we do before you go to a parking lot.
So I was out there, been out there a lot. That's actually the first place I raced when I autocrossed. And
Same.
was going, there's 2 straights, relative straights as long as they can be on a track that short. And I was turning left off of the last one, and I heard a pop, and I knew it was bad, but I continued both of my laps. Matched my fastest time out there ever. Did a 1:23.1 or something like that. Brought the car in. Knew something was wrong with it.
That's the fastest time in the Fiat.
That's the fastest time in the Fiat.
It's not the fastest time you've been out there.
Oh, my God. He won't ever let this go.
That's in the Omni.
Do you want to go down this route?
Yeah, so we can talk about the 240's fastest time.
We can go down this route.
I have the fastest car on that track here.
Didn't I beat you?
I ran the
120.8.
teens. I made once in the teens. That was the one you weren't there. I got into
that's
the
right.
teens.
He had one fluke. The air was super dense.
Yeah, there was one perfect condition day, and he beat me.
Ben Collins came out of the woods.
There was one
and
time
jumped
where
in
the
his car.
driver mod pulled his head out of his ass and drove the car like it should have been.
Yeah, but then the next time around, oh no, you did. You beat me on the last possible chance you had.
It's true.
I had beat you all day until the last one.
So anyway, the end of that story was I ripped the lower A-arm off of the frame.
Whoops.
Like, just clean out.
Pulled the bolts out. Whole deal. It's an old car. It's, 40 years old?
And frankly, that car's been pretty good to you, considering Fiat's legendarily not reliable.
Well, the reason that car's reliable is because all the relays have been taken out.
Yeah.
That's exactly why.
Yeah,
it's reliable.
you get rid of all the stupid stuff, and you can make most any unreliable car reliable if you get rid of all the dumb things that a factory did at some point.
It's usually relays. Same thing with Jags.
Supposedly, my car was, super unreliable, and I've had nothing but good luck with it, knock on wood.
Relays. It's got to be what it is.
It doesn't have the most advanced thing it has is an MSD.
So anyway, that front K-member, or whatever the hell you want to call it, it's not really a K-member, but that's been replaced, welded back together. I took it out on a closed course, and it was great. It was glorious. Had a good time.
Missed it so much, didn't you?
I did miss it. Stupid car. I hate that car.
No, you don't.
I love that car. I'll never be able to sell it. There's a guy that may actually be interested in buying it because he kind of loves it too. That Mark guy. He's got the 500 Barth.
Dubai?
No. The 500. The guy.
Oh, okay.
He likes the car, and if he had a place to work on it, he may actually buy it.
I think Scott would be mad at you if you sold it to somebody besides
God.
Scott.
Scott loves that car so much.
Scott's a Subaru friend of ours.
There's a weird thing about the car. Just drive it sometimes. Not fast.
I would love to drive it. You keep it together long enough for me to drive it, and I'll drive it.
I'm hoping that there's 2 race cars to race next year or this year, and people can race the Fiat if they want to.
That would be perfect.
So anyway, the RX-7 has the block in it. Basically, it's a long block right now. We need to put the intake on it, put the injectors in it. There's 2 wiring harnesses. We got a different wiring harness and a different ECU. I don't think you knew that.
No.
They're out of a, I think it's out of a 95 Trans Am that had a T56. So
we don't have to figure out how to hack something together for the automatic to manual change?
correct. And, yeah, especially with the ECU.
Yeah.
And there's Granny Speed, who made the kit for the swap, has a tutorial on marrying the 2 harnesses together. Because we've got the Caprice harness, which should be pretty close to the same. And we've got the Trans Am, or wait a minute, no. So we've got the Trans Am harness now. And we've got the RX-7 harness, and those 2 need to go together. But there's a tutorial.
So most of your gauges will work and stuff?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's got an aftermarket electric speedometer, though. So those T56s have a driven and an electric speedometer output on them.
Oh, really?
Yep. So
you didn't even get that lucky, did you?
No.
A lot of your gauges didn't work.
Oh, yeah, they did. Yeah,
Do they?
Oh, yeah, everything works.
Oh.
So anyway, we just got to make it run and put the brakes on it and put the rear end in it and put the coilovers on it and put the seats in it.
When are the coilovers getting here?
Wednesday.
I'm pumped.
Got some Fortune
Doubles?
coilovers.
Double adjustables?
Yes. They're nice. They're nice.
He's
coilovers.
big time. I'm excited about him.
They're nice Fortune coilovers. If anybody's ever, I didn't know anything about them until I went down this route, and I'm pretty impressed. They very carefully say assembled in Virginia or wherever it is. I think it's Virginia. So obviously they're not making them there because they're $1,200 for the most basic coilover they make.
I think they make good stuff, though. Well, there's a couple of local guys we race with that seem to have very good luck with them, and I mean, obviously they're not $5,000 coilover setups, but I think for the price, they're a very good setup.
Yeah, no, I think they are a pretty good setup, and
they offer a wicked contingency setup.
Yeah, so I'm not mad about that. I didn't know that until after I bought them. So basically, and I'll probably quote this wrong. So if anybody actually listens to this and
actually, I looked it up, see if I can remember too.
This is something I think everyone should look into when they're trying to decide what they want to buy for their car. If they're going to use the car like we do, if they're going to compete with it, look into some of the. If you're on the fence about what to buy, see if they have contingency programs.
Yep. And Mazda has a contingency program out there, by the way. So if anybody races a Mazda...
Does your car qualify for it?
I started asking for pictures, and that's when I got nervous. And I didn't follow through on that. Now I may see if... Well, okay, now I remember. So there were pictures. I was like, I can get away with that, right? So you can keep the hood closed. No one needs to know. Then they started asking about motors, and I was like, shit.
Yeah, that's a killer.
I'm going to be out. So I may turn it in anyway and see if I get some hate mail or something from Mazda, but... So if you're interested in the Fortune contingency plan, or contingency, whatever it's called,
program,
it's basically if you come and it's in your class, and we don't know exactly how this works. Basically, you sign up for it, and you put their logos on your car.
So you do have to put the logo on it.
Yeah, so they tell you where to put the logos, and I think it's just over the wheel arches.
Most contingency plans or programs require that the car has stickers on somewhere specific.
Yep.
And there cannot be any other suspension manufacturer on your car.
That's probably true.
No stickers, no nothing.
So you got to be careful of that. So you put them on, you sign up for it. It's like $25 or something. Basically pays for your decals and your registration. And then if you get, and it's SCCA, it says SCCA on it. If you get in the top 3 of your class, you get $100 towards Fortune merchandise. If you get first, you get $300. So I bought the cheaper coilover setup and I didn't buy the Swift spring upgrade, even though they almost talked me into it because A, I don't know 100% for sure that's the spring rate that I want.
Yeah, since you have a little bit different weight distribution.
Right, and B, if I can manage to get third, 4 times this year, that's going to pay for me to get Swift springs. So why would I pay for this? Is not an advertisement for Fortune. I just realized this is probably not what they're looking for. Don't buy the upgrade because guess what? You can get it for free. Well, maybe it is. Maybe they think there's enough idiots out there that'll, that'll try that.
Hoosier's contingency program is not nearly as generous, but they offer one. A lot of people do. Mazda offers contingency programs for SCCA for solo racing, but I think a lot of those you have to be at a pro solo level. You have to go to a divisional event or higher.
Yeah, this one for Fortune's pretty interesting because it seems to be at all levels.
It's the first one I've seen that will pay out at a local level, which is really cool for them.
Yeah, so I'm excited about it. We'll see where it goes, but so you were telling me you can get BC coilovers for your Omni.
Yes,
which is super bizarre.
So BC makes coilovers for Skittles, for SRT4s. And there is a guy that makes an adapter plate for the front, and the back bolts in, and then there's on the top, and there's a spacer for the spindle, because I believe that the bottom of the shock is a little bit smaller in diameter on the SRT4 than it is on the Omni. So there's a sleeve that goes over the shock, and then that sets down into the spindle, and then you torque it down to spec, and it's fine.
So you could run coilovers on that car if you wanted to. I don't know if it really is going to buy anything.
I actually have... Well, so I have coilovers on there technically, but the back ones are homemade, and the front ones, the company no longer exists and don't support. I have Coney Reds in the back. The front ones are Carrera, and I found out that QA1 bought them out, but QA1 does not support anything for my car.
Come on, QA1.
I've got 4 or 5 different coilover options I could do. Ground Control sells a kit that will work for me, a coilover conversion kit that I can use. QA1 does make coilover setups for other cars that I can bolt to my car. What I found is that obviously anything neon will work as long as I can get that sleeve, and then any Volkswagen Mark 1 Golf Mark 1s with very little modification will also work on my car. So then I have like KWs and stuff like that.
Right. Fair enough. So you got some options.
Yeah.
But they're all, I mean, I don't want to buy a cheap set. What I have is okay. So if I'm going to buy a set, they're going to be better than what I have.
Right.
So, I'm looking at $2,000 to $3,000 worth of that. And that was the plan until I bought the supercharger. Now I just want to get it running with that instead.
Yeah, my only concern on keeping what you got is, how shot are they? You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm sure they're shot because they're 15 years old.
Right. So, and I don't know. I don't know much about coilovers because when we have our podcast about doing stupid things to cars, I'll talk about the cheap coilovers I put on my GTI and it was terrible. So I don't know.
Racelands?
Yeah. So I don't know when you. So I don't know when you're supposed to have those revalved and all that nonsense.
Well, so a lot of circle track shops have shock dynos, and there is one in Boone that has one, supposedly. I saw something about that. And so I thought about pulling them off and taking them down there and seeing what they tell me and if they can rebuild them. Coney will rebuild the reds, but I don't know what to do about the front.
Right.
I would prefer to get them rebuilt because I would like to know if they've been custom valved. A lot of times with autocross setups, they've been revalved, and this car was built to be nationally competitive. So if there was any advantage in doing it, I'm sure he did it. The problem is the car I own was built by someone who is no longer with us, and not very many people know what it was he did, so I can't go and ask people very many questions.
So yeah, at some point, I'd like to put together an article about Adam's car because it is a pretty interesting car, as much of a piece of shit as it is.
Whoa!
That's for earlier when he was just ragging on Robbie and I before the podcast about our cars, and we both looked at him and went, "I don't think we've ever said anything mean about your car at all."
I deserve that
thing.
Yeah.
I deserve that for sure.
So anyway, it does have an interesting history. It has an interesting local history because a lot of people knew Bart, and they knew that car from him racing it. And even people that weren't necessarily directly SCCA related seem to remember that car at some level. So,
well, I think there's a lot of guys who used to be SCCA related and aren't anymore.
Okay, fair enough. So they remember that car. So yeah, we'd like to put something together that actually shows what that car is.
When I went to that race in Forest City this year, that was put on by the Minnesota region. The region based out of the Twin Cities, and they have an announcer that just kind of talks about what's going on. And between heats, he was talking about how he remembers Bart Holden owning that car and coming and racing with them. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? I'm racing with a group from Minneapolis, and this guy knows that car well enough to remember the previous owner's name and commenting about how glad he is to see that car's still out and running.
Yeah, it's kind of bizarre, but
car's absolutely crazy. It draws a crowd wherever I go.
A lot of people,
that's
a lot of people loved it for a long time. So anyway, we're at almost an hour and a half.
I think it's time to wrap.
And we got to
this
do
up.
this tomorrow.
That's plenty of time.
So basically, tomorrow we're going to Wild Wade's here in Des Moines, Iowa. If anybody actually knows what that is, it's a swap meet. It's probably one of the better indoor swap meets locally. Robbie does tuner things and puts underglow on shit, so he's never been to a swap meet before.
I don't do underglow anymore.
You only don't do underglow because Adam gave you too much shit about it.
It's not true.
That's not true. He doesn't do underglow because on the way to a race in Oskaloosa, it fell off and he had to tear it off. Otherwise, it'd still be there.
Okay,
it probably would still be there, and it did work for like 7 years.
So the gist of all that is Robbie does underglow things. So we're going to take him to the swap meet. We're going to show him some V8 stuff. We're going to show him some real salt of the earth
Yeah,
people.
I'm probably going to wear my Nismo shirt just to really fuck with people.
Yeah, they're having no idea what that is. They're going to think it's a sex toy or something. So
Hopefully.
anyway, Robbie's going to go to that, and then
Wow, a sex toy. That's where I would have gone with that for sure.
That's my
yeah,
first
whatever.
thought.
So then we're going to go to a gun show after that.
And by we, he means those two, because I'm going to go out and eat with my parents.
I don't know why Adam wouldn't want to go to a gun show, but whatever.
I need to spend more time with my parents.
All right, fine. If you're going to be that guy, if you're going to be that family type of guy, it's fine. So we're going to go to the gun show, and we're probably not going to buy anything. We're just going to look and probably people watch, but we're going to get a full report on Robbie's first experience at a swap meet, and I hope we run into some really fucking weird people. That's all I got to say.
Like, part of me wants to, like, find people I know and call them up and be like, keep an eye out for me. Do really weird shit in front of me.
Yeah,
But
I want
that's
Robbie to be freaked
fake,
out.
and I don't.
Yeah, it's got to be genuine.
I want Robbie to be freaked out. Not like the last time we went to a podcast and Adam saw his ex-girlfriend there, and that was weird.
Swap meet.
Not podcast.
Not a podcast. Last time we went to a swap meet.
That was one of the most awkward things that's ever happened.
I don't know why you wouldn't let me play that game that I wanted to play.
Michael wanted to, like, every time she was close by, he wanted to go, Adam, we know you're rich. Stop throwing your money around.
Yeah.
Just like,
Adam, we know you have hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Please stop. We know how successful an entrepreneur you are. We know this. We know you've been on the cover of Fortune magazine. Please, Adam, please.
That's the type of shit I like to do.
Just
that was that situation was so awkward that I was in front of him and Josh Fettis.
Yep.
And as soon as we walked by her, he goes, that was really awkward. I don't know what just happened. That's how awkward it was.
And then she kept like mean mugging him from across the event center, like giving him this weird
and
look.
you didn't talk to her or like wave or nothing?
It wasn't clean.
You guys did a weird like, that weird halfway.
I know.
Hey.
I recognize you.
Oh shit!
That's the first time I've seen her in like 7 years.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm hoping
Let's hope that happens tomorrow.
Something weirder than that happens tomorrow. So
I bet it will.
We'll come back. This has been the 1010s podcast. There's a good chance that we'll try to do some more of these, and I hope this doesn't crash and burn like most of our other ideas.
We'll make it work.
Yeah, we'll make it work. We'll post some more stuff online. We'll do a lot better job of getting our Facebook and Instagram and Twitter stuff together here pretty soon. I think that this podcast, if we decide to release this, which we probably will because I've been listening to it in the headphones and it didn't sound completely terrible, it'll get posted at some point, but it'll probably be well after the website and all that stuff's up and running.
I've been doing my best not to breathe into the microphone because I have terrible allergies and I can't breathe through my nose, so I sound like Darth Vader.
If anybody wants to complain about Adam's breathing, please direct it to our Facebook page, which is 1010s Podcast. You can also send him an email at...
No, not a chance.
I'm so angry. So anyway...
Good April Fool's joke could be post his email and phone number.
Yeah, all over the internet. That'd be great. So anyway, thanks for listening, and let's try not to fuck this up and actually do it regularly like we talked about.
Sounds perfect.
All right.
See you later.
Bye.